Hollywood has always been a place where dreams are manufactured, fortunes are made, and ordinary people become extraordinary icons. But behind the glamour, the award ceremonies, the red carpets, and the billion-dollar opening weekends lies a financial reality that is far more complex and far more surprising than most fans ever stop to consider. Because the richest actors in the world in 2026 did not simply get paid well for their performances. They built businesses, invested brilliantly, negotiated legendary deals, and in some cases constructed entire empires from scratch that dwarf their acting income by hundreds of millions of dollars. And when you count down this list from number 10 all the way to the single most jaw-dropping name at the very top, you will find that the answer to the question of who is the richest actor in the world in 2026 is a name that most people would never, in 1,000 guesses, place at number 1. Starting at number 10, the legendary martial arts icon and action comedy superstar Jackie Chan of Hong Kong, born Chan Kong-sang in 1954, holds an estimated net worth of approximately $557 million in 2026, according to Esquire Australia, a fortune built across more than 150 films, spanning 5 decades of non-stop work across Hong Kong cinema, Hollywood blockbusters including the Rush Hour franchise and the Shanghai series, his own production companies, brand endorsements across Asia and the world, real estate investments, and a global commercial appeal so durable and so consistent that even in his 70s, Jackie Chan remains one of the most recognizable and bankable faces in entertainment anywhere on the planet. At number 9 sits one of the most universally beloved actors in Hollywood history, Tom Hanks of Concord, California, whose estimated net worth of approximately $572 million in 2026 has been built not through a single massive deal or one extraordinary windfall, but through a 40-year career of extraordinary consistency and quality, 2 back-to-back Academy Awards for Best Actor for Philadelphia in 1993 and Forrest Gump in 1994, a record that no other actor in history has matched, combined with his work as a producer through Playtone Productions, his real estate portfolio, his partnership deals, and a personal brand built entirely on the most precious and the most rare currency in Hollywood, which is the absolute unconditional trust and affection of a global audience that has followed him through every genre and every decade without ever faltering in their devotion. At number 8 is a man who has not appeared on a film set in years, but whose decades of landmark performances, from Chinatown to The Shining to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest to As Good as It Gets, earning him 3 Academy Award wins along the way, left him with a net worth estimated at approximately $590 million in 2026, according to Esquire Australia. And that man is Jack Nicholson of Neptune, New Jersey, whose real estate investments over the decades, including a collection of properties in Mulholland Drive and across California, combined with the enormous back-end participation deals he negotiated on many of his most successful films, have kept his fortune growing even in a decade during which he has largely withdrawn from public life, making him one of the wealthiest retired actors in the history of the film industry. Coming in at number 7 is Brad Pitt of Shawnee, Oklahoma, the Academy Award-winning actor and producer whose estimated net worth of approximately $594 million in 2026 reflects a career that began with a breakout role in Thelma and Louise in 1991 and grew into one of the most celebrated filmographies in Hollywood history through films including Fight Club, Sesevenin, Troy, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Inglourious Basterds, Moneyball, and the Ocean's franchise, with his wealth driven not just by his acting fees, which reached $20 million or more per film at his peak, but by his production company Plan B Entertainment, which produced Academy Award Best Picture winners, including 12 Years a Slave and Moonlight, his Miraval Provence rosé wine brand, which became a global bestseller before his well-publicized legal disputes with Angelina Jolie, and his continued commercial endorsement partnerships. At number 6, with an estimated net worth of approximately $750 million in 2026, stands George Clooney of Lexington, Kentucky, a man who proved definitively and brilliantly that an actor's most financially rewarding venture does not have to have anything to do with acting, because while Clooney earned tens of millions from his film career, including the Ocean's franchise, Michael Clayton, Gravity, and his multiple producing ventures through Smokehouse Pictures, the single greatest financial decision of his career was co-founding Casamigos Tequila in 2013 with business partners Randa Gerber and Mike Meldman, building it into one of the fastest-growing premium tequila brands in the world and then selling it to Diageo in 2017 for up to $1 billion in a deal that netted Clooney approximately $233 million personally, transforming him from a very wealthy actor into a genuine business titan whose net worth reflects entrepreneurship as much as it does entertainment. At number 5, Dwayne Johnson of Hayward, California. The Rock, the former WWE champion who became the highest paid actor in Hollywood multiple years running, sits with an estimated net worth of approximately $800 million in 2026, a fortune built on a breathtaking combination of massive film salaries from franchises including Fast and Furious, Jumanji, and Black Adam, his Terramana tequila brand, which became one of the fastest-growing spirits brands in history, his production company, $7 Productions, his Under Armour partnership, his Netflix deals reportedly worth $50 million per film, and a social media following of nearly 400 million people that makes him one of the most commercially valuable human brands on the entire internet, a man who quite literally turned the story of being cut from the Canadian Football League with $7 in his pocket into a near-billion-dollar empire through sheer force of personality, physical discipline, and relentless work ethic. Moving now into the top 4, the numbers tip into the billions, beginning at number 4 with a comedy legend whose name is synonymous with one of the most financially successful television programs in human history, Jerry Seinfeld of Brooklyn, New York, whose estimated net worth sits at approximately $1.1 billion in 2026, according to Forbes, a fortune so extraordinary and so counterintuitive because it was built not primarily on acting in films or even on live comedy tours, but on the most reliable passive income stream in the entertainment industry, which is the syndication royalties from Seinfeld, the NBC sitcom that ran from 1989 to 1998 and has never stopped generating money, with Bloomberg documenting that syndication and licensing deals alone have earned Seinfeld approximately $465 million over the decades, the show's streaming deal with Netflix reportedly worth $500 million for global rights, and Seinfeld himself continuing to earn an estimated $100 million every single year from syndication alone, even a quarter century after his show ended its original run. At number 3, the man who built his first fortune through real estate before he ever became a movie star, the 7-time Mr. Olympia bodybuilding champion who became the highest paid actor in the world in the 1990s and then served 2 terms as the governor of California before returning to entertainment, Arnold Schwarzenegger of Thal, Austria, holds a real-time net worth of approximately $1.1 billion, as confirmed by Forbes on March 11, 2026, a billion-dollar fortune assembled through his Terminator and Predator acting fees, his extraordinarily shrewd early investment of his bodybuilding prize money and acting income into Los Angeles real estate beginning in the early 1970s, long before film stardom arrived, a real estate portfolio Forbes estimated to be worth $100 million, his commercial endorsements, his production deals, and his comeback to entertainment through Netflix productions, making Schwarzenegger a genuine billionaire whose wealth is built on a foundation that began not in Hollywood but in Austrian gymnasiums and California property offices. At number 2, in a ranking that will surprise every person who thought Bollywood stars were wealthy but not quite at this level, stands Shah Rukh Khan of Delhi, India, King Khan, the self-made superstar who arrived in Mumbai as a young man from Delhi with no film industry connections, no family backing, and no guarantee of success, and who built himself into not just the biggest star in the history of Indian cinema, but officially one of the richest actors in the world, with his net worth confirmed at $1.3 billion by the Hurun Global Rich List 2026, published in early 2026, a fortune driven by over 90 Bollywood films across 3 decades, his film production company Red Chillies Entertainment and its VFX division, his co-ownership of the Kolkata Knight Riders IPL franchise alongside other franchise ventures, his real estate holdings including the iconic Manat Bungalow in Mumbai, and a global endorsement portfolio that has made him India's most commercially valuable celebrity face for more than 20 consecutive years. And then, at number 1, the answer to the question that opens this entire story, who is the richest actor in the world in 2026, is a name that generations of Hollywood executives dismissed, rejected, and underestimated, a man born Emmett Perry Jr. on September 13, 1969, in New Orleans, Louisiana, into a childhood so painful and so poverty-stricken that he later described growing up with the name Emmett as meaning, "You were poor as hell," who survived a deeply traumatic childhood, who was homeless and sleeping in his car in Atlanta as a young man in his 20s while trying to launch a stage play career, who faced a decade of outright rejection from the entertainment industry before his stage musical, I Know I've Been Changed, finally found its audience, who then wrote, directed, and produced the Madea franchise entirely outside the Hollywood system on his own terms, who in 2020 became the first African American in history to solely own a major film studio when he opened Tyler Perry Studios, a 330-acre campus built on a former United States Army base in one of Atlanta's poorest neighborhoods, a campus that is physically larger than the combined lots of Disney, Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Sony, and whose net worth, as confirmed by Forbes on their 2026 billionaires list, stands at an estimated $1.4 billion, making Tyler Perry, the homeless New Orleans boy who once had nothing, the single richest actor in the entire world in 2026, a fact so extraordinary and so deeply human that no amount of money can fully capture the meaning of the journey it represents.